YouTube it's Brian Phillips. We have something serious to talk about today. The Creality Falcon 2. We may have unboxed this a while ago, but we didn't really show how to use it beyond being cool in these glasses, these safety glasses. And so we wanted to share just another idea of exactly how you could make something. I mean, this is cool and all. And it is pretty cool that it cuts out. We may have cut some other things too from the same material. But as you can see, it's neat to be able to do this right at home from your own tool. But what would be even cooler is if you could make airplane parts and airplane components and things like that. So what we're gonna do today is we're going to show you the whole process of taking this piece of garbage and turning it into a plane. Now, admittedly, this piece of garbage is not wood, but I wanna sample it and see if I like the way it comes out, and then we'll play with it and see what we can do cool with it. And so if you see me wearing these awesome glasses, you'll understand. We have a few other accessories out because we wanted to show you. This is one of the things that we have already made with the tool, and that's our son runs a shop. What's it called?
AP Creations.
That's right. And this is like this is what he started with, resin earrings. And that's right. And I'm just going to tell you something. The reason that my son makes earrings is because he has a mother.
And she has friends.
And she has friends
that
want things like this. So anyway, this tool is not always going to be used for airplane components, just to be full disclosure. And that's the way a lot of people use these. Not only 3D printers, but laser engravers. This is an engraver and cutter because it's got a 40-watt laser, so it's enough to do all your PRK and LASIK treatments. I was totally joking about that, by the way. But nobody ever talks about like start to finish, how to do it. So we're gonna talk about that today on Brian Phillips RC, and then hopefully we answer some of your concerns, because some of you are thinking, yeah, I would love to have this, but like, I don't know how to like make that thing spit out an airplane. Well, we're not gonna be making an airplane today. And so we don't mean to clickbait or trick anybody into thinking that. We have made some interesting things like this stand using a Creality 3D printer. Which one is that?
That's the K1 Max.
The K1 Max. And that's really cool because my son has been working on drafting different ideas and plans, and I've been working with him to make ball joints and things so we can change the position of the aircraft. And ultimately, I would like to make a stand probably out of wood for some of these larger, more heavier planes. And I don't know if that's still gonna end up being a resin 3D print thing, but we just wanted to show you, because of the complexity of the Draco, this of course is the micro Draco that just released not too long ago. There's not a good way to hold it, and it's big, okay? So like I wanna do something similar to what we've done with this Crescendo UMX, okay? So we wanna be able to make different various heights so that you can store planes in a tight spot and still have them in a really cool way. So, but in order to get there, we have to start somewhere. And what we're gonna do today is we're gonna show you the process of printing just a basic plane, okay? Because if you don't know how to do it, you're probably going to be scared away from buying something like this from the links in the video description below if you wanna support Brian Phillips RC. So we're gonna start with literal garbage, spend thousands of dollars, and then end up with that, which is gonna be so cool. And how does this process work? A, dream of what you want. B, go to Etsy if you don't want to design it yourself, and then spend $206 or whatever it costs, because that's pretty inexpensive. And so we're gonna, this laser cut files, we do not work with laser cut files. Maybe someday laser cut files will work with us.
Maybe.
But I kind of doubt it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it out of cardboard, and this cardboard is probably the wrong thickness, so we might need to be a little bit creative how we do it, like run maybe 2 sets, because if you look, there's a certain thickness to the wood that's expected, and that's gonna help put everything together. So we're just gonna go over some of those details. Now, as you can see on the back here, there's already some print. And also this is a paper product. It could burn a little bit easy. And so just remember, we do have an exhaust fan and we can make a cross breeze in our environment. So just keep safety in mind as you do laser engraving and cutting. And when I say safety, I mean, don't do that when your husband is at work.
I'm gonna show them where I screwed up.
Don't do that while your husband is at work.
We learned how to move the thingy.
So anyway, I hope you like those earrings because they cut through my
Those are different ones.
That was a different one. Okay, and don't forget, safety first, obviously. So step one, come up with a plan. Step two, if you can buy it or design it. And then we'll show you how to download it and then put it into the different applications right now. So stay tuned. Okay, so Megan and I were searching forever and we found this guy or gal or whatever at Laser Cut Files. And they had a bunch of different programs, different airplanes that you can make, which is really nice. And of course, Etsy has like a million awesome choices and they've got like wall art and things like this. I didn't want to go through the time of designing something like this from scratch and the potential legal liability of like copying something that I really like, which would be like, you know, maybe an Airbus or a Boeing product and then getting sued or whatever thing they come up with. I'm pretty sure that would happen, by the way, but for private use, I'm pretty sure nobody's gonna know or care. But the truth is, these guys are doing pretty cool amount of work for $2. So we're gonna go ahead and give them $2 and we're going to get a download of a file, and Camera Crew and I are gonna talk a little bit about file types. So they have a here's how, and what happens is you download and it comes in a certain extension, and we're gonna show that right now. You have to then
learn more about
this product. Yeah. Okay, so then it comes as an SVG color coded for easy use, okay? So they're obviously from Europe. So what happens is then later, it gives you dimensions and things like that, and that's always nice and blah, 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 whatever. Okay, so we're gonna show you how to download that now. Megan and I are gonna pause while we buy this quick, and then we'll show you how to then open it in this editing tool, which is called Inkscape. And Inkscape is going to allow you to then manipulate and set up your path and different things like that. And it's gonna help you to come up with a good print. And then we're gonna import it into this application, which is freeware. And you do kind of get this on this provided little, there's a USB drive.
You have to download it.
You have to download.
You have to download the laser.
They talk about downloading it on this little micro SD card. They called it a micro something or another. TF file. So
Yeah,
whatever.
TF.
Same difference. Oh, and then full disclosure, this did come with a couple of different materials. Don't forget, you can cut leather and different. Like this is like that foam paper. What do they call that stuff?
It's like felt
paper. Yeah, and they come with a bunch of different thicknesses of wood and stuff for testing. But really, it's not big enough for the model we're making. And so that's why we were gonna start here and just kind of see what kind of outcome we get. And if we can get that texture out of what would be otherwise a waste product. So our next move is to buy this, and we'll come right back and show you what it looks like when we download it. Oh, you're back. Never mind. Sorry, I just have to put that away. So we downloaded some files, guys, and they're right here. There's one that's a 0.125, thousand, that's 9 inches. And then this is 3 millimeters. So that's what we got with the file. Now, just to be clear, 1/8 of an inch is thicker than 3 mil. So we'll go with 3 millimeters is probably close to this. Now, if you're not sure how thick your cardboard is, the best tool to use is the one we use for doing our center of gravity testing, which would be, of course, calipers, but you could use a tape measure. I'm gonna use calipers in this case just to see and have an equivalency. Now, obviously, we have to get this ready to cut, so I'm gonna turn this on. We're gonna just grab this and see what we've got. So like almost exactly 3 millimeters. Okay. So that's ironic. I did not know that. Full disclosure, going into this, I assumed that it was probably not going to be close. So we're gonna see what we can get, because I really like the idea of making this out of cardboard, because if it works, it might be a throwable if we can put enough nose weight in it. So this happens to be a 35 pack tray from like Coca-Cola.
Yeah, it's like some
Coke
sort of
Zero
pop
or something
can
like that.
tray. Mm-hmm.
So you guys probably get these too. And so we just want to use something that's like an ordinary, which is, yes, I know it's kind of weird because we get like tons of boxes from airplanes. Like, why didn't you use a plane from a box? Well, because we just took them to our landfill.
Yep.
Yes, we have a landfill. It's very full.
Yep.
It's kind of embarrassing. You've probably seen it on accident in videos. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we'll show you the contents of the 3 millimeter file. So we'll just open that real quick. You can zoom back, it's fine. Okay, so there's the Globe Master. So I am going to actually extract this rather. So I'm gonna right click and just extract all right there. Looks good, show extracted files. Boom, there it is. All right, so Then we've got this here. And these are the file types, .ai, .dxf, and then whatever that is, Microsoft Edge HTML document, okay? So this is probably gonna be a readable. Evidently this is designed by a guy named Andrew Schultz, okay? So we don't intend to break your copyright. So obviously we're not gonna link to this, but if you wanna find it, just go to Etsy, you'll see it. Here's the outside perimeter, and then the blue lines are for engraving, okay? So it's pretty cool, 3 millimeters. And he's got the information designed right into the file. So that's pretty cool. So that's an HTML file. So this is the application that we need to actually make cuts, okay? Or engraving. So we'd go file, open, and then we can open this from our desktop. We've got that sitting there. So we just open this. And this tells you, you know, how fast you want to do it, the power and percentages, color. Look, red, create. Okay, so look. So there's that. So cut red lines. You see that? So that would cut. Okay. Now, you could just leave that product in there and then you can engrave. But what we need to do is we need to engrave first and then cut.
Can you select 2 colors?
Just listen. I'm going to show the people. So what we're going to do is you can also right click on the file and you can say open with, and then you can search for the application, but that's kind of a pain. So what I'm hoping I can do is just drag that straight to the shortcut. Okay, now it's gonna populate and it's gonna ask you the question. So what I wanna do is I wanna go blue, and what that's gonna be is then we'll set the power to less, okay? Because this is gonna be to engrave, right? So I don't know how to differentiate between engraving and cutting yet, because we just like literally haven't done it. Oops, sorry, I meant to open that. Now, just to be clear, you can't drag this here. Wait, it did let me do it that time. It wouldn't let me do that the last time. So I want to just grab the blue lines first. Okay, so blue lines, create. Okay, so that would be the engraved lines, right? The trouble is, like, you can't eliminate that crap there that I know of.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So because we can't eliminate those remarks, part of what we have to do is at the minimum, we're gonna have to, and I'm not saving my changes obviously, at the minimum, we're gonna have to take this file, we're gonna have to open and select the stuff that we wanna keep, which is like everything but this, okay? And I want that gone, right? So what we're really doing is we're using this utility to make the modifications to the exact layout, right? Now keep in mind, you can do a lot of different things to make a lot of different stuff happen with the laser engraver, but part of the reason we do this video is so that you can figure out if you really want to tolerate those complexities. Because everybody is just going to show like, wow, look at this thing I made, you know, I cut this thing out and it's amazing. But you may not realize all this BS that goes on in the background. And that could be a considerable amount of struggle, especially for those of you that are used to watching Brian Phillips RC, where we go through and set things up step by step by step by step, because that's what we try to do here. So we just want you guys to understand that there is a lot of stumbling and bumbling that you're probably gonna have to get through to make this thing work. It's not like you're gonna open it up and it's just gonna be like, oh yeah, I can dream it up, and then it cuts out all on its own. There's a lot of work that goes from cardboard or wood or whatever it is you're cutting out of, or leather, loading it, and then getting it to actually work. And so that's why we're trying to show this process, okay? Because it's not gonna be just maybe as easy as you think. All right, so we think we figured out how to do this. It's probably not the most direct route, but we're gonna get you where you need to be, maybe.
Maybe.
All right, so we're gonna start back from where we started. This, like we said earlier, I don't know if we're gonna clip that out or not, but this is the HTML document. It's not actually an HTML, that's an SVG, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're gonna drag that, and we're just gonna drop it on Inkscape. We have our shortcuts on the desktop to make it easy, okay? So once this opens, then I'm gonna show you what we're gonna have to do to actually make the file. So first of all, it gives you these instructions that you can just delete. So I'm highlighting them and I'm gonna press the delete key. And then I'm gonna highlight this, and this just talks about, you know, you can't redistribute it because we purchased this from Etsy, okay? For like $2.20 with tax, it was cheap, okay? Then you have to highlight what you're gonna be working. But remember, I don't want that either. So I'm gonna highlight that. I'm gonna highlight this. Otherwise it's gonna make another path and you don't really want that path, okay? So then you highlight what you want to be pathed. And then you're gonna go to extensions, G-code tools, and then path to G-code. Okay, so you can path to G-code. And I'm gonna do this, except before I do this, I'm gonna show you why I'm not doing this first. I'm gonna close, and I'm gonna go File, Save As, because it's gonna save something to this file. So I wanna save as, so I don't lose my text. And I've already done this a couple of times for testing. So no instruction test, I'm just gonna call it like number 3. So test 3, you gotta spell things right. And then I'm gonna save it. So now this is saved. And then I'm gonna go back to extensions. I've got everything highlighted. As you can see, you can tell these are blue because all the paths within this system are already drawn. Now I just need to make the G-code paths. So I'm gonna path the G-code, and then I'm gonna just say, I changed this to test.ngc. So I don't even know where this is writing, but it's in the home directory of something. So probably within this application. I don't care, I'm just gonna hit apply. Well, excuse me, not apply, but see, I've got that highlighted. So I'm gonna hit apply, and then it says blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it worked. Now I can just close this. We don't need it opened anymore. I can close this. I don't even care about saving, but I'll go ahead and save it anyway. Okay, so now we'll take number 3. That's the one we just made. I'm gonna drag that now to laser Gerbel, GRBL. So it's laser free engraving, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm gonna select what I want to do, which is gonna be blue first, because we want to engrave first before we cut. Because if we engrave second, then the parts could be like moving around, and we don't want that. And so any changes we make to our X and Y axis, we need to be careful that they aren't made, or if they are made, they're made equally to both, okay? So I want to pull out the blue this time, and then this is the speed, 1000's fine, but this dynamic power, constant power, we don't really care about that. So we're gonna go here. This is what we choose, laser model, which interestingly enough is not the model of our laser, but it's close. Is that what you use?
Yes, the closest one.
Okay, because we have a 40 watt. And the material is not basswood this time. It's not ABS, it's not acrylic, it's not bamboo. Black chalkboard, coated duplex board. Okay, what are we looking for? Dry leaves.
There's white cardboard at the
Where?
bottom.
White cardboard.
Or paperboard.
Where's paperboard? We have
Paperboard is
paperboard.
in the middle.
Okay, so we're gonna do paperboard, but we don't wanna cut, we want to engrave. Okay, understand?
Okay.
And I'm gonna hit apply. And the speed is, well, whatever, I don't care. Create. Now watch this, boom! That's the lines we wanna draw starting from this point. So now that we've done all that super simple things.
It only took us 3 minutes.
Yeah, right. So I'm gonna take this tray, and the reason we show you the whole step-by-step on this channel, including our gaffes and mistakes, is because there are people that do this for a living, and there are people that do a lot of drafting and CAD and stuff like that, and they're gonna have no problems doing this stuff, but they're used to doing that crap. And I do a lot of weird stuff.
But not this.
But not this. Okay, so I'm just making this so it's flat, and it's already perfed, but really I just don't wanna have a problem because a perf gets in the way. So I'll just rip these off real quick, because there's not really any added, you know what, I'm gonna use scissors.
Oh,
You can use, I just have one spot on there where it's not breaking off very good.
we just don't want the laser to get.
We don't want the
caught up on
laser to
edge.
run into it.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing this for. And you see I don't have like a good starting point. Once I'm started, I should get a cleaner break. So again, this is just a matter of dealing with whatever media you pick, whether it's a t-shirt design or whatever. I mean, people are actually like, they'll put pants on there and like burn denim, you know, words into it. And so there's a lot of different things that we've got ideas, but you got to start somewhere. It's like we say with anything. I mean, we've got these helicopters over here, and that's where I seem to really be about as far as I can get from where I want to be, is with helis and 3D printers and this sort of thing. But the truth is, if you guys don't want to start, if you don't want to start here, then this might not be the tool for you, because it's not going to be a 5-minute thing. You're going to have to spend a little bit of time. You have to know quite a bit about computers to be able to get to where we are. And we really don't know what we're doing.
And we are using free software. The Inkscape and the
Yes,
Laser Gerbil
which is
are the
harder to
free
use.
options. Yep.
It is harder to use, admittedly. So if you're not a cheapskate like me, then you can just pay for the software.
So if you're using Lightburn and you're using Adobe Photoshop and all, or Illustrator and all that, it's going to be different.
But it's not free. It's not cheap.
Right.
So if you're a professional that already uses it, or if you're doing this for like a small business or whatever, then you're probably not going to be printing on garbage. Like literal garbage, but we do this because we want to show you how we get where we're going, and that's what we aim to do on Brian Phillips RCs. We don't want to say, hey, go spend $4,000 on different software so that you can make your earring or whatever it is, okay? That's not what most people are going to do. Okay, so you also notice the imperfection in this material. It has a little bit of a curvature to it, so I'm just going to flatten it out as much as I can. And then just full disclosure, we're on a hard surface. We're not in a dangerous environment. Don't do this on your carpet. Don't do it on your bed after you're done smoking.
And we have our honeycomb thing on top of this aluminum
sheet. And
like
somebody told us this honeycomb was upside down the other day. There is not an upside down or right side down.
Yeah, ours.
It's the same.
Our feet are
top
the
and bottom,
same on both sides.
Okay?
Yep.
So maybe yours is different people that told us we were doing it wrong. And I'm the first to admit when I do stuff wrong. Like we do a lot of stuff wrong.
I know. It's like, how do we know?
But like,
how do we know?
How do we know? And then I'm like, wait, it's the same up and down. So maybe yours is different.
Yeah.
But what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this thing fired up here pretty quick, and we're gonna show you the next stage is once you have the drawing for your engraving portion, like on this model, we have all the little lines, the panel lines of the wings. We're gonna engrave, and hopefully it doesn't destroy and bake through that. But if it does, we'll show you the outcome, so that you can learn from our mistakes and you can point and laugh. Now, also, I just want to point out I have a mouse plugged in here. That dongle will have to be disconnected because this thing only has one USB port, and provided with our equipment was a USB-A to USB-C cable, which is actually really high quality. And so, of course, that comes. It actually came with all the stuff in that thing, except for that thing.
Yeah, except for the actual little.
So in order to actually control this, of course, you want to use the USB-C end over here, and you're going to use the USB-A end into your computer. And if you don't know the difference, this is the A end, and the C end is the end that goes in here.
And it matters if the machine is plugged or turned on when you plug this in or not, but I don't remember which way it goes. So if it doesn't work.
So if it doesn't work, don't freak out. Just do the opposite. Now, you want to know that there is an e-stop here. That presses in. You release it by spinning it and it comes up. That's the same on real industrial e-stops. This happens to be very small. Don't be afraid to e-stop your machine. If it starts cooking in the wrong spot, stop it. Don't wait for it to cut through your counter or catch your arm on fire or whatever, or screw up your vision.
Right.
That was just a joke, but I had this LASIK thing in. I should probably explain. I'm getting a touch-up. I'm getting PRK on this eye, my left eye, as a touch-up, because I had LASIK in 2012 and then 2018. And I'm getting a touch-up because I want to be able to see better. So I'm going to be out of service for like 4 or 5 days, which sucks. I'm actually nervous about it. About being out of service, not about the laser surgery. So I'm not lasering my eyeballs, guys.
Let somebody else do that.
Well, I mean, I don't want to figure out how to make an airplane on this, let alone do laser surgery. And I think they're a little bit more well-trained.
Probably,
at that
I hope
facility.
So. Okay.
All right, so getting back to the point, so what we're gonna do now is we have to go ahead and fire on the system. So we have a toggle switch here, we have the power plugged in, we have the USB port that's not plugged in, and then we have our air pump over here. If you don't know how to set this up, what you wanna do is watch our unbox build radio setup or unbox and build, because we did that in a previous video. So it's in this playlist, and if you're just watching this trying to figure out how to follow along, that's why we're showing you step by step. Okay, so I am gonna go ahead and unplug our mouse, because we can do without the mouse. And then I'm gonna plug this in. Now this may not work right away because of the power sequence issue, so we'll talk about that if it happens. Okay, so nothing happens. And obviously the other thing too is we haven't sent this to the machine, so you have to actually send this to the machine and you have to pick your COM port, right? Because this actually uses prolific drivers to operate the communication at, in this case, 115.2 baud rate, which is a serial over USB setup, okay? So then it goes to here and it executes the commands, okay?
And it should pick the COM port, I think, once it's
on.
on.
Once it's on.
Yep.
Okay, so we're gonna turn this on. The big thing is I just want you guys to know if it would like start doing something at this point, you need to be prepared to go ahead and hit the E-stop, okay? So we're gonna turn it on. It's gonna start running. You can see it found it on COM 5. It started at 3, then it went to 5.
It's just gonna warm up the...
I wanna make sure our clearances are good too, because you can see...
I think we're gonna need to move that up a little bit.
Okay, so in that case, I'm gonna E-stop. That cuts power. Now look at this, guys.
This dinged the little... I didn't know if they would be able to.
So watch this. Unlatching this, and then if you need more room, you can actually move it pretty easy, but you see what happened? It moved. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull this up a little bit. There are actual like distances that you're supposed to set, and I don't care. I'm gonna just pull it up high enough that I guarantee it's not gonna hit as it moves, okay? And also you can kind of see that you are limited on where this can go because of the leg structure, okay? My thing is I want to make sure we have the home position in the right X, Y coordinates so it doesn't start cutting right there, okay? Because if this is 0, I want to move it out here so that we can kind of get our paper out where it's going to cut. But we also don't want to then move this once we've started engraving, because then we're going to load the exact same cut instructions for our second set of passes, if you will. Right. And I don't know if it's just going to do one pass of engraving or if it's going to do several. But either way, what's going to happen is when we're done, we're going to not touch this. And then we're going to go back and cut the red lines. Because remember, we just opened the blue lines. They're displayed as red. Yep. But we're going to later open the blue. Or no, these are technically blue that show as red now. And they will eventually be opened with the outline of each of those pieces. Yep. If you haven't connected the dots, you'll see as you watch. Okay, so the next thing to do now that we've moved that up is I'm gonna go ahead and power this back on by resetting the power switch, or the E-stop rather in this case. Okay, so I can hear that. That's the pump making noise and everything is doing what it's supposed to so far. And so now what I wanna do is, before I actually start running anything, I wanna see if this thing responds to my movements. See, it's not connected yet, okay? That's why everything is grayed out on the screen. You can tell it's reconnected in terms of waking up the COM port, but if you're not sure, just unplug. You see how it says COM 5 up there? We're gonna unplug here, and then we're gonna plug this back in. You can hear the do-do-do-do. And what I'm gonna do is,
I think you have to go.
That's connect. Yep. So we have to connect first, but that's not gonna start right away, right? No, it should. So I'll just be prepared to cancel if I need to.
See, now all your things are colored.
Okay, so now watch this, guys. Look. I can move the thing. Yep. Okay? And then I can move the thing. So I'm clicking and it moves. And you can see where the cursor is, folks. You see that blue thing right there? That's the cursor, the crosshair. So I'm gonna go to the home position first. Make sure we don't have a collision. And that's the home position. So now that's where 0 is, guys. So I wanna make sure that I have my material under there, and I have this where it's gonna be totally on, okay? Now also, I wanna make sure that I'm gonna fit. So the other thing I wanna do is I'm just gonna come up here and I wanna see where it goes when I move it up, okay? So we'll just walk up here and we can make sure that we have plenty of material. See, look, we're still on top of the material. You can do all this through measurements and calculations and tabulations, and yeah, I don't have time for that crap. I'm just gonna guess and check until it cuts something out. So you can see we're well past the material. Okay, look, now we're way past over here. I don't know if you guys could see but the blue went off the screen. So that means we're gonna be cutting in this area here. I feel totally comfortable with that, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go home again. I'm gonna click the home, and then it moves over, and then it's gonna stop, and you can tell the laser's like right in the middle of this, okay? So that means give them an upward shot of this. I want them to really see. This is one of the biggest things you wanna make sure is not gonna be wrong. If you're wrong on placement, that's when you get things like this where it cuts into your metal or potentially damages your countertop or your workbench or whatever. So once you've done those couple of things, then what we can do is we should be able to click, what do we do to start it?
I think go up to, see there's actually is run.
Sorry.
So we're still not quite ready for something yet.
Are we? Or did we just start it?
Click the little green play.
So play is gonna do it?
I think so. Yep.
Run program. Okay, so we're gonna try to run the program. Engraving is about to start. I have to put my safety goggles on.
No.
And I'm just watching it.
Oh, wait,
Uh-oh.
there was a problem.
Oh no.
Machine alarm.
It would appear that has executed.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
Okay, so I'm not sure. I'm gonna move. So it's definitely moving. Okay, so I'm gonna go back home. And this is why we do these videos, guys, because if everything was really easy, you would have already done it yourself without watching our video. I'm actually just gonna try this again. Okay, start from beginning.
Yes.
Okay. Start. There we go. Laser! Whoa, 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 whoa! Okay, so this is really cool because I can totally see it working. That is really neat. Okay, no, do it over here so they can see. Remember, don't look at the laser with your balls.
I'm not looking at the laser.
With your eyeballs. Here, guys, we'll make you safe. It's really cool, actually, through the... As long as you're looking through that orange thing, you're safe. Oh, that is totally engraving. Wow, so cool. It's funny because it's such a pain of tediousness to actually set this up. And now watching it work, it's really exciting cool. Because this is so much cooler than just the Creality little creature. And it makes up for all of the bad words we said off camera. And let me tell you something, folks. There was a lot of them. Okay, so once this is done, and we make sure that our balls aren't damaged, our eyeballs,
okay,
then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and then cut out the rest of it. Oh, that is so cool. I'm like really super surprised how neat I think this actually is.
It's about half done, supposedly. It says progress. It's been
so I want you to go back here so they can see both though. So they can see both. Because I want them to see, it's like moving the blue cursor.
Yeah,
and like
on
you
what
can
it's
see
cutting.
All the stuff. So really, once you've proved that it's not gonna go off of the target, then you should be good. Because here's the thing, I have visions for this system. Once we have this working, then we can put in a piece of Depron, or we can put in like a paper plate, or not a paper plate, but a foam plate. And really what I wanna do is I wanna make super, super small planes. Like planes that I can fly in this living room and not crash into the wall immediately. But then they can be super detailed too. Oh, by the way, this is not very stinky either because this filters the air. It literally sucks the air through to this thing.
Why is the person with the brain injury giving the smell report?
Oh, that's true. Does it stink?
It's not really bad, no.
Okay.
It smells slightly like burning cardboard, but it's like not bad at all.
Oh, that side, you can definitely see the laser. Definitely. Oh, by the way, when they cut your eyeballs for LASIK, you smell it.
That's
and they're
gross.
like, yeah, it's just the gas from the laser. I'm like, no, that was burning flesh, dude. I know what that smells like. And it was a long time for my eyeballs. The first one. The second one, the touch-up was not very long. Anybody who's had LASIK, put it in the comments below. I would have done it easily 15 years before, 10 years before for sure, if I would have been allowed to, but they said it was a bad candidate, which is a lie. I was a great candidate. Perfect. It's done.
It's done.
Okay, guys, now let's watch how easy it is the second time. And yes, we are gonna talk over this because I wanna let that keep cooling.
Okay, see where it says colors up at the top? Can we just go switch colors?
No.
Oh.
That's different lasers.
Shoot.
Okay, so I'm just gonna literally close this.
How are we gonna know it's in the same spot?
Don't you worry about that. Okay, so we did test 3.
Okay.
So now watch this. I'm just gonna open it again and gerbil, laser gerbil. Okay, these are the steps people don't do on YouTube, I've noticed. Okay, so this is where I need to click this thing.
Yep, because now we're gonna cut.
Now we're gonna cut. We're not gonna engrave, we're gonna cut, but we also have to go, okay, whatever.
Just say, no, say apply. And then change the color down there.
All, and I only wanna do red because the blue is what we did the first time. They showed it as red, but I wanna do it as from our file. So now watch what happens. We're gonna create that. There you are. So now we know it's in the same orientation because we literally pulled it from the same file. So now I can go.
You have to connect.
Connect.
Yep.
I hate that it's a laser, like why would they do a lightning strike? That seems like start to me. Okay, now I know I'm in the home position. I'm just gonna start it. We already know it's gonna work. Oh. You have to click start.
Put your goggles on.
Oh, it did the same error condition.
Okay, just do it again.
It would appear. Okay, all right, or whatever.
Just go to, yeah, and then click OK. That's what I did last time. Okay.
You have to click start. Woo! It's cutting through.
Oh, geez.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh, yeah. Uh-oh.
Are we lined up? We don't know.
No, we're lined up. I'm just concerned about that thing falling through funny.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that is totally cutting. Okay, I turned on the exhaust vent to keep the dangerous fumes. Oh, you gotta give him a shot over here. You don't look at it though. Here, cover your balls with this.
I'm looking through my phone. I can look through my phone.
Oh, that is so freaking bright.
I can see. Well, here, I want to actually see it in real life.
Okay, now anybody who's ever welded will understand the concept. It is so tempting to just totally stare at the flames.
Okay, here, I'll look through my phone from back here so they can see.
Oh, wow. I'm breathing in all the clean, pure air. Hold on, let's give them a mic. Listen.
It's not very loud.
This burning sound. Oh, that is so cool.
See, then all the frustration, then when it starts actually doing it, you're like, oh my goodness, it's amazing.
It's actually really, really cool.
It is super cool.
And you know what else is weird about it is that the precision of cutting is so dang good. Okay, it's starting to get smoky, right?
Is it smoky? I don't know. I mean, I can definitely smell.
It's smoky.
Oh yeah, it's a little smoky.
It's definitely getting smoky in here. We aren't gonna set off the fire alarms for YouTube, so what we'll do is we'll crack our windows.
You can see the smoke coming out from under the sheet now.
Yeah, and the thing is,
when it does those big long lines, like it gets a lot smokier.
So we're just gonna create a cross breeze because it is like extremely windy right now.
It is.
And so that should help. But just keep in mind, when you do set up your laser engraver, you're gonna need to take a little bit of time to be frustrated and annoyed with your decision to buy the thing, because what's gonna happen is you're gonna be doing this and you're gonna be so frustrated, and then all of a sudden it's like, works.
If someone would have picked and listened to the recommendation of someone else to pick a less complicated thing to try the first time.
Oh, that is so dang cool. Wow.
I am nervous about the pieces falling through.
Well, I am a little bit nervous about those things. Like, do we need to try to pick these up?
I know, but you can't. Like, if you bump it.
Well, you can tell.
But see, the laser's not going to hit it. The thing is up high enough, but it still just makes me nervous.
Yeah. So, guys, listen. So part of the long plan is have something like this to print and make simple, like throw airplanes, gliders, but then also something that can fly inside of here really slow. Like an F3A plane.
Yeah, definitely. You can get all your practicing in now that you know what that is.
So it's almost done, guys. It's almost done. Man, it is smoky in here, is it?
It is, a little bit.
Holy crap, I just hope it doesn't catch on fire. It's done. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let this continue to do its thing. Yeah, it is definitely smoky. I just wanna make sure this isn't gonna like catch on fire. Okay, so now don't move this until you know you're done. But once you know you're done, I'm gonna come over here and watch this. Oh, that is so cool. Okay, so I've got the parts here. The winglets are gonna be the worst part. And then I've got the nacelles here, okay? And then I've got the wing here. Looks like the wing didn't cut. It was hung on, so they missed a cut on the design.
Yep.
Which is fine, not a big deal. And then over here, these parts, I'm just gonna lay them down.
Just start picking them out.
Oh, that is so sweet, guys. Just literally from garbage. And yeah, there is definitely
sootiness.
Oh yeah, but still, it's like really cool. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna take all these pieces out. These are spacers. And then I don't wanna lose a bunch of stuff, but we can get it from the tray too.
Yeah.
These are the things that are going, the wheel pants or wheel fairings.
And then all your little nacelles are hanging
Got
out
the
over here.
nacelles. And then we'll probably use some China glue. Is that what we use?
Oh.
We could use a lot of different types of glue.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about the pieces that we cut. Okay, so maybe we should we'll find a piece of white and come right back. It's time to cut. The only piece that didn't fall out was right here, as we mentioned a little bit earlier. And I'm not sure if this is supposed to be cut.
Yes.
How do you know that?
Well, I was just looking at the picture on, like, the Etsy picture.
Are you 100% sure?
That's
I'm not
come here.
100% sure. Let's go look at the picture.
Come look at the picture. Because that is going to be that little spot.
Okay, all right,
It's going to, like,
point.
set down into the bottom.
So, for what it's worth, you could actually draw those lines back in if there was a mistake. And we might have screwed something up. I mean, I don't know exactly what we would have.
It's entirely possible.
So, guys, the moral of this story is that when you buy an expensive tool, I mean, the same is true for expensive tools in your garage, or if your wife buys some like expensive sewing machine or something weird like that. There's no guarantees that it's going to be like as easy as you want it to be to use. And I can definitely say we were both racking our brains on this one, and partly because we're not used to the software yet. And I don't know that it's necessarily the 3D printer's fault, because we're trying to be cheapskates and not buy the better software. But I can definitely say this. Now, I mean, every time that we do one of these weird projects, we learn something new and we get a little bit better at what we do.
Yeah.
And whether that's, you know, radio controlled, or, you know, farming, or in my professional career, or just life in general, parenting, dealing with friendships. Oh, it happens to be the one spot that had the stupid logo on it.
It's going to be the bottom of the wing.
Well, that's all right.
Let's be the bottom.
We'll survive. But we are going to build this right now. What I'm getting at is the whole point is, as we do these projects, we learn and get a little bit better each time. And it's going to be a little bit less frustrating when we go to do it again. Okay? So I think this goes, oh, did they not cut those out either? Or wait, how does that go? This goes, by the way, that soot is getting on me for sure. Okay, see this? That's supposed to go there. Like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see.
That's how that goes.
Yep.
See? It's got an outline on it. So once that goes on there, then how do we adapt? How do we adapt them together?
So
see, those are landing gear.
Were those little rectangles supposed to be cut out?
They're supposed to be going, I don't know, are those doors? I can't tell in this picture.
I can't tell
Let's
either.
go to this picture and see if we can tell. Yeah, they're supposed to be cut out. So that's supposed to be the back side of, yeah, and then the nacelles are supposed to be out of here, hon. Those are out, yep.
Yep.
So in that case, I have to cut these little squares out. And just to show you how impossible it would be to do this, I mean, you saw how hard it was for me to do that. This is supposed to be cut out. Maybe this is going a little bit better. And you want to pay attention to the grain of your corrugated cardboard here. Well, goodness gracious, I want my $2 back.
Yeah, because we could have totally done this ourselves and it would have been no big deal.
Well, you know, to be honest with you, you can do a lot of what we did by just making a bitmap image, and then you can use the colors to indicate what's what, right? And then you open it up and you make your SV whatever file.
Sure.
What? That's what the way you would do it. You would draw it, and then you would just do that, and then you would just have to do all the different layers and all the panel lines and all that stuff. I'm not saying I want to do it. I'm not saying I'm going to do it. I'm saying that's how you would do it. Okay, so this one's punched out. Goodness gracious. We might pause while I finish this. Okay, so just to add insult to injury, I want to talk about something. When you have a laser engraver cut something so precisely as this,
yeah.
and then you come in here and you're like, I've got a near brand new sharp, you know, utility style knife, in this case an X-Acto knife, and I just need to cut these 4 boxes. I probably spent 10 minutes doing this.
And they're already marked for you.
Crappy, and well, they're already marked for me, and it's like super hard to actually do it right. And you think I'm exaggerating, but I'm really not. Anybody who's cut cardboard knows what I'm talking about, because the corrugations are in different spots everywhere. So you got to be super careful so you don't slam yourself with a blade. But then also you end up with just a really crappy cut quality, even if you are a relatively careful person. And like, look, this is the way one comes out, like a big puff ball. And you get one, whoa, then you try to drop the knife on your naked feet, which I've only done once. Wait, I didn't do that actually on camera. I've stabbed myself a few times on camera accidentally. But you see what I'm talking about? Like, what a pain in the butt. And that's up against perfect cuts over here.
Yeah,
okay.
It's like, those are so
They're so
small.
like perfect. And that is what we're talking about, is when you do this laser engraving. Ah, see, look, it finally came out. Look how crappy that is.
Jeez.
Okay, so now that we've got those cut out, we'll go ahead and pick back up where we left off, which is just kind of assembling this. And I just want to talk about, like, you don't have to use garbage materials, but because for the sake of this test, first of all, I wanted to see how this kit went together. Well, in our case, we would want to add those cuts into the cut list, okay? And then that would mean that we would get a better outcome on this model. And again, not trying to bust this guy's balls for making a model that's got a couple of cuts that's missing. We might have screwed something up, so I have no idea, guys. Okay, so there's your engine nacelle. So those are gonna glue together. So you've got markings on both sides, and there's 2 of those. So why don't we start?
No. There's 4 nacelles, hon. Look at the picture.
Oh, there are 4 nacelles. Yep. Oops, I'm sorry, guys. Those just go pointed out. So there's 2 that are this way and 2 that are that way. Yep, there you go. See, I thought you had to sandwich them together, sorry. So this is gonna go up in here like that. And so obviously we need to glue that if we want it to stay. And we're gonna do that next, but I wanna get my fuse glued together. Okay, so we'll just, and you see there's soot from all the cuts, which is a little bit strange. I'm not used to that. This is some FMS China glue. You could use foam to foam. You could also use like a more appropriate glue if you want. If you don't want to use foam style glues, that's fine. You could use Elmer's glue in this case. But all I'm going to do is I'm just going to use whatever I've got lying around, and I'm going to spread this around and just try to make a good contact area by kind of getting a lot of surface covered. And remember, this stuff is it's like a contact adhesive, but because it is going onto cardboard, it's probably gonna dry out like really quick, I'm guessing. And so I doubt I'm even gonna have time to apply it to the other side. So I just gotta be kind of careful that I get it lined up first. Okay, so it's lined up and it's lined up. And this stuff is really easy to work with, so I like that. That's pretty cool, it gives a little thickness to the airplane. And of course you can take out any indisparities and bend, and you can see the direction that I wanted that to be. I didn't want them to run lengthwise, but if you would have, it might have looked cooler. Just kind of depends on your taste. The other thing is you can break out parts of the drawing on this, not on this, but on the other application.
On the Inkscape.
And then you can pull out, and then you could go in and like draw extra details or whatever. And you can make it super detailed. Okay, so now that that is glued together, we have to continue gluing this together. You know, we wouldn't have had to do that.
Well, are you going to use those little connector pieces or not?
Well, I suppose we probably should because it's part of the design. But you see, that's supposed to go like this, probably. But now that I think of it, dang it, we probably could have done without.
Just glued them on.
Just glued them on because the glue is holding really good. There is definitely a correct direction here, though. Let's see how this works. Oh yeah, I think that's what's supposed to be happening there. Or was it supposed to go the other way? I really kind of can't tell. If it was a wood kit, it would be a little bit more robust, obviously. Okay, so there's that.
And since ours is a little bit thinner, it might not
very close to the same thickness. But yeah, like we could have left those uncut. Dang it, now I realize that. I guess that's why you watch Brian Phillips RC. I'll pre-make the mistakes for you. Which includes buying the wrong planes at the wrong time. We will help you guys to avoid that. Also, the thing I like about this foam glue is that you can actually get it. You can get it on your fingers and then just roll it off, and this will actually take the soot off as well. Okay, so I'm gonna just lay that down there. Now, if you were gonna use those little blocks, you would have to put them in probably beforehand if you're doing cardboard like this. So if we did want those, we would need to force those in here. So maybe I'll go ahead and slide it in just to see how everything fits. I feel like it goes that way, or that's what it's supposed to be at least.
Yeah, then you have less on this side to...
Yeah, to protrude out. Show the onlooker.
The spy.
The spy. He wants in. He wants
He does.
in. He's an outside cat now, though. Which is mean, but that's what happens when you try to burn the house down. Are we going to tell the people how we tried to burn the house down?
I guess. No, you started the story.
Well, he found a power strip, and he decided he wanted to pee on it. And the power strip then started to sizzle the urine, and it tripped a breaker, and then in our ignorance of what had happened, we turned on the breaker again, and instead of just like, you know, tripping it again, it took a minute for it to start sizzling up, ended up burning up the breaker. Not the breaker, but the
Power supply.
the power strip, yeah. It was just a fluke. I'm sure he didn't mean it. He didn't mean to murder the whole family, although he is a cat.
He loves us the most. He's like
He is the
the
nicest
one.
cat,
He would
I know.
feel the worst.
He would feel the
if we all
worst
died.
after he murdered us and ate our bodies, like the other cats would.
He wouldn't eat us. The other cats would.
He would. He'd be
would
like, I'm
not.
just gonna waste your body.
Yeah.
Sorry, anybody who has cats probably understands. If you don't, sorry.
Cool.
Okay, so we got the fuse done. Again, this is not meant to be like the best example of what you could ever do with this, but it is an example of an option. Okay, so let's see how this wing goes in here. Okay, so a little bit of a looseness there. Not crazy about that, but that's because of this thickness here.
Thickness, yeah.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and throw just a thicker slather than I would normally do, and then a thicker slather than I would normally do of some China glue. I'm gonna try to slide this in and see if I can get it in there without making a big mess of the gooey stuff. Okay, so we'll just work that back and forth. I could probably shim that a little bit with some of the scrap from one of the cutouts. Let's see if that works. That's got a lot of soot on it. I think it's probably gonna stay actually.
Yeah, I think it will once the glue
Sets a little
backs up
bit.
for a second.
Okay, so far so good. And then this one we do have to glue because it's up on the top. Then we got to get the nacelles added. It's so irritating. But like if I wanted to, I could just cut that again out of a spot that we didn't cut.
Right.
So we know the orientation that's set, and so all you would have to do is just put the drawing in there. Mm-hmm. And yeah, for future reference, there was definitely not red lines drawn there.
I noticed that while you were working.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do, I probably shouldn't have done it on that side, but it's okay, because that's gonna
Seep down.
Yeah, but I think it's still gonna get enough contact area. Again, this is supposed to be made out of wood, so I'm not trying to pretend like we aren't aware of that. Man, that is so dang sticky, like right away. By the way, if this gets sticky to the point where you can't get it off your fingers, you can use two different types of things. First of all, you can use friction, and it'll pretty much come off of there. And the second thing is, the black soot makes it look so much worse than it actually is. That's hilarious. The other thing you can use is kicker. So CA accelerant will actually make that come off. Okay. Got a little bit too much glue on this one, so I'm gonna steal some for the other winglet. So guys, if you're brand new to Brian Phillips RC, this is kind of what we do. We take you through somewhat tedious processes so that you can become a better RC enthusiast because you know how to do something new and exciting. With every little step, like we said earlier, you just get to having a little bit more skill here and there, and eventually you get to the point where you can do anything.
Anything?
Anything. Well, not anything. Most things.
Wait, the design is going to be, if you want the little embossed part out, right?
I want that out, yeah. So, and again, I come back to, you could also do the same thing here. That was a pretty bad fit, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely not wide enough for that hole.
Yeah, it's a little bit narrow, a little dissatisfying. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the rest of these nacelles on and you guys can watch as I do it. But at the end of the day, here on Brian Phillips RC, we always really appreciate you guys being part of what we're up to. And in this case, when we're doing laser engravers and 3D printers and stuff like that, you might be thinking to yourself, but that's not really what you do. Truthfully, it may not be always what we're doing here on this channel, but it is a function of what we like to do. And I've always been kind of a creative guy, and you know, we foster that creativity with our children, and obviously we enjoy being able to be creative. And if you have these tools, then you can do some of those things that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to do, or at least it'd be a lot harder to do. So if you guys are in the market for a 3D printer, or if you're in the market for a laser engraver, then look no further than the Creality. Oh, and by the way, they have another one that just was released not too long ago that has a whole cover. And I'm not sure if we'll end up doing that or not. But if we do, maybe we'll have another cool print project like this that we can run through. Of course, it's going to be easier for us because we won't have to waffle through the entire project. And that is, after all, like I said, that's one of the reasons why you might be compelled to watch the Brian Phillips RC video, is because you get to see a literal piece of trash turned into a piece of trash airplane. We built this. That's pretty cool. Now, all we had to do was spend thousands of dollars on equipment and hundreds of hours of effort to make this, but the next time you see it, I'll be flying it. Okay, maybe not. That was a little bit of an exaggeration. But the truth is, once you have the tools, you can make some of the really cool stuff. Hold on, where are my glasses?
Yes, you have to wear your cool... First. Oh, they're way over there on the other end. You're going the
where
long
did
way.
you put them?
I put them where you put them.
Oh my goodness. So what you're saying is it was my fault.
Yeah.
I get it. So guys, there you have it. So cool right there. Thanks for watching. If you guys want to be cool like me and wear green glasses, then all you have to do is check out the links in the video description below. You can get one of these for yourself. Very cool tool. Almost unlimited possibilities if you have the stomach for a little bit of frustration at the beginning. And to be honest with you, the frustration that we experience is strictly from a lack of experience.
Self-induced.
Self-induced. And that is really fun
cool.
and pretty stinking cool. I love it. I'm certain it won't fly because it's extremely tail heavy. But the way this is sandwiched, I was hoping we could like leave a little bit of a room here and we could put like a dime or a penny in there. Probably a penny because it costs too much if it was a dime.
Yeah,
this is garbage after all.
A little bit.
But
Not much.
I'm sure that if you got that center of gravity just right, you might be able to fly this. But what I'm really visualizing is to make this out of an EPS type of plate, like a paper plate, or if I could get a paper, instead of like a round plate, I get like trays. And then I could lay those in there and then put off more noxious gas than usual. And then I could cut something like this and I could actually make that thing fly, because the weight of this thing is probably going to prevent it from flying well. But the cool factor is huge. So without further ado, guys, the Creality Falcon2 laser engraver and cutter. Just remember, when you hear engraver, I'm going to be cutting things more than engraving, although I got to say, I'm super impressed. I thought, you know, the lines aren't going to add that much. The lines make it.
Yeah, it really does.
Which is so cool.
It's like decals on a regular plane.
That's right. We always like, yeah, we don't need the decals. And then we always end up putting the decals on, except for like one time. So hopefully we've answered all your questions and more than you even knew you had, because this 8-minute video, 8 to 15-minute video.
Plus an hour.
Plus an hour. That's what we do. When you guys choose to work with us in the world of things like this, they usually ask, they're like, oh yeah, we need you to do an 8-minute video. It's like 8 minutes. That's like our intro. So hopefully we did answer all your questions. And if you have more questions, you can ask them. I probably won't know the answer, but we are willing to listen. And
if you have questions on like the specs and stuff, if you click on the link,
yeah, I was going to say,
see all the different.
You can definitely click on the link and you can see the specs there. But also, you guys know that we know more about planes than we do about helis. And we know more about helis than we knew about like RC trucks. And we know, well, actually we probably know more about cars. I just don't talk about it a lot on this channel because we mostly do air stuff. But we know more about trucks than we do about weed whackers and about air tire fillers. And then later down the list, there's also laser engravers. So there are certain areas where we really have some expertise in areas that we are brand new and very green. But there was a few years ago, we started doing e-bikes, and now I'm an expert. Just kidding. If you guys want to help support us, the best thing you can do is buy these things from the links in the video description below. Also, we want to say a special thanks to our Patreon supporters, which are monthly, our YouTube member supporters, which are also monthly. Thanks, guys, for being here with us on a regular basis. YouTube, super thanks. We appreciate you. And then PayPal if you don't want any of the fees to go to those other companies. But we really think the best way to do it is laser engravers, batteries, transmitters, amazing airplanes, helicopters, airplanes,
Small Silverados for your children to ride in.
Small Silverados, which, by the way, that thing is awesome, by the way, and the kids do love it.
Yeah.
And it is also radio controlled. So sorry, it's radio controlled. Brian Phillips RC.
It is.
So we have so much more content coming. Promise there won't be any 3D printers or laser engravers for a while, but maybe for a while. But if you have cool ideas, or if you guys are really experienced with this and you saw things that we can do to make our lives easier, like send us an email. In the About tab, you can find it. That would be one of those times where we'd want to have a dialogue with you. Or if you have like some files you want us to try, that'd be a great way to do it. And we can do that off camera and then have correspondence about that in a more direct way. Obviously, the comments are kind of like a public forum. So we look forward to hearing from you. And I'm sure that you will leave in the comments below all the things we did wrong. I'm sure there's a plethora to pick on. And so we appreciate you too. So without further ado, we're gonna sign off. We have airplanes to get together, but the wind is uncooperative, and so thank God that she blew so well today.
Why we're doing this.
That's why we're doing the laser today. And guess what we're gonna do next? I can't tell you.
Nope.
So I always wanna use this phrase from Top Gun. I could tell you, but then I'd have to KILLU. And it is hilarious how many times I've been caught replying to people about classifications, classified information. And then they get caught by they're like, you can't threaten people like that. So I'm not even sure I can say that.
I don't think you probably can.
How did Tom Cruise get away with that?
If we tell you, then we'd have to,
Finish you off.
Yeah, there you go.
Make you swim with the fishes. Which, by the way, we have no fishes.
Nope, not yet. Still
None
no fishes.
yet. Yeah. We're just the same kind of fish you have that end up in the toilet for you kids. Actually, we don't have any of those right now, but soon maybe. Guys, we'll keep you up to date on what's going on here at Brian Phillips RC. We appreciate you very much. So stay tuned. So much more coming right around the corner.
It's gonna make a gigantic mess.
Are you sure it's going to be a mess?
Yes.
It's gonna boil.
Have you started yet?
Yes.
Okay, here it goes, guys. The banana. Don't get your banana under the laser. You never know what it's going to cook for you.
It's like sparking.
Oh, come over here. It's so cool. You can see it glowing through the banana object. That is so cool.
Oh, it stinks.
Oh, that is so cool. Zoom in. It's splattering banana particulate
It is.
as it burns my name into its own flesh. Brian Phillips RC. Oh, wow. We can make
It does stink.
We can make banana buffets, guys, with Brian Phillips RC branded bananas. Oh, that is delicious.
That's hilarious.
Awesome.